Good morning and welcome to 6th Gen Farmer. Now, yesterday when I wasn't filming, a lot of damage was done. Some of it was 100% my fault, and some of it was 0% of my fault. But we got a few stories to tell here. So to start out, I need to grab this bogey wheel because, I guess I did live stream yesterday a little bit, so I did film some, but. So yesterday we were trying to get a 480 acre day done planting soybeans. And I got to about 400 and it started to rain. And so I stopped for a little bit and then it stopped raining and it dried out pretty quick and I got back going. And then I got to about 420 and it started raining again. This time it was a little bit more serious. It was later at night. The sun wasn't shining anymore. So I called her quits. Well, I kind of ran errands for a half hour, 45 minutes, but it stopped raining. And even though it was dark, the ground was dry enough that I was able to go back out and finish the field. Okay, so all was good. The field was finished. We didn't get to 480 acres because there was two fields yesterday, a 440 acre field, that's our biggest field, and then I had a 40. So I got the 440 done. I was pulling up the planter and it started to pour, just pour, right as I finished the field. I'm like, perfect, you know what? The 40 can wait. At least I got the big 440 done and I can worry about that some other day. So I got the planter folded up. I started going down the road. Now, remember, I have 2 miles to go between the field and our farm place where I was gonna store the planter for the night. 2 miles. Halfway in the pouring rain, one of the bogey wheels just lets loose, goes flopping everywhere, and in the process it took out the track tension harness on the tractor. So that was the one part of destruction that was not my fault. And the other part I'll get to later in the video because I don't want to intertwine these two things any. Okay, I also need a good, nice big block of wood. Honestly, that will do. So I'm gonna go drive by the 40 quick. I'm gonna see if it is fit to plant, and if it is, I'm just gonna replace this bogey real quick. Shouldn't take me more than a few minutes, and then I'm gonna get moving because this is a last 40. A conventional crop we have to put in the ground. What is the date? Just for my own reference. Today is May 5th. We still have the organic stuff left, so we still have the organic corn and soybeans. With the organic, we like to wait an extra week or two, so that way some weeds start germinating, and then we go and till it and kill them all, and then that way also our crops, or our organic crops, do not cross-pollinate with everyone else's conventional crops. So this is the last 40 right here. I'm not very good at checking field conditions, but there's basically two ways you can look at it. One, is there any dirt sticking to the bottom of my boots? A little bit, yeah. And secondly, if I grab a bunch, does it clump up? Yep. I think that's way too wet. I don't think this is even gonna begin to work. But it's still pretty early. I guess, crap, it is 9 o'clock. I think they have more rain forecasted for like 10, 30, 11, but it looks pretty clear. I don't know, I'm gonna fix the tractor and then come back and worry about this. Hopefully let it dry here for another hour or two. No, out here it's actually better. Maybe it was just kind of a spot along the end rows there. That ain't bad. It ain't bad out here. A little wetter along the road.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think it's gonna work.
I was there too. It's a little damp. I get your bogey closed.
Yep.
Fixed.
Okay.
An hour it might be a lot different. So.
Yep. That's kind of what I was thinking.
Okay.
All right. Let's see, rain chances for today. We have got the weather app. 30% mainly after 11. It's currently 9, but it's only a 30% chance. I guess I'll check it again in an hour and see how it looks, but might as well get that bogey fixed. Oh, you poor, poor majestic beast. Let's see what we got here. So, here's a bogey that went out on me yesterday. And then as this thing was flopping around at 26 miles an hour, it took out this harness, which just plugs into this right here. Now, here's the thing. The wires are all still intact and stuff. It's just the end that needs to be repinned and a new connector being put on. So, this is fixable, but it's not fixable today before I plant. But this harness doesn't actually like do anything other than let you know that the pressure is low in your track tension. It doesn't actually like move anything. So if I don't mind a monitor beeping at me for 40 acres, I'll be perfectly fine. These two bogies don't look the greatest either actually, but better than that one. So when you replace a bogey, you're supposed to replace them in pairs. So you're supposed to do one outside and one inside one together. I'm only going to do one for today, but that's just because the field's a mile away. It's 40 acres and it's a mile back. So we can replace the other one here after we get this 40 done. We just want to get this 40 done and out of the way because it's supposed to rain here like the next 3 days. My cab's a disaster. I've been living in this tractor the last week and a half. Forgot, I can't do that because it starts burning these wires. I gotta pull start this thing. Release the pressure. Yada, yada, yada. Where's the pull cord in this thing? It's over here. Well, I got my no-name Harbor Freight socket and my Harbor Freight Earthquake XT Impact. I've never actually used this thing. Let's see how it does. And no, I'm not sponsored by Harbor Freight. I'm just cheap when it comes to buying tools. Actually, my dad bought this. Oh, dude, no problem. Kind of impressed by this cheap little Harbor Freight Impact. It's really small, it's really light, and it has a lot of power. Cheap tools have come a long way. Get this old thing out of here. The nice thing is that I think most of the time these bogies are rebuildable. So you just gotta take it to some place that does that and they will use the metal part up and put the new rubber or poly or whatever you get on it. A little cheaper than buying new ones. Well, now I suppose I should put a zip tie on this and just to keep it from getting wrapped up again. Kind of a two-handed job. There we go. Won't get wrapped up in anything right there. Okay. Other than the fact that the ground's not ready, we're ready to plant. Okay, it's been about an hour. The sun came out. There's a little bit of a breeze. I don't know. It's just a little damp. A little tacky underneath too. The neighbor's going right there. Within a quarter mile of me or someone going, but I don't know. Of course, this is kind of a wet spot the field. I don't know. I would just like to get this done, but I don't want to tack it in either. This is just a tad bit more tacky than the field was last night when I finished it, and I would say that one was borderline, like, I wouldn't want it much worse than that. So yeah, it's clumping up. Although now there is nothing sticking to my boots. You know, I think by the time I go load the planter, grease the planter, drive over here, I think it'll be ready to go. So I'm gonna check. There's kind of a low spot right here. See how bad this is, how tacky it is. Golf ball. I mean, I think by the time I fill that planter up and grease it, it'll be good to go. Another golf ball. So here's why it's a bad idea to go when it's wet. These gauge wheels can fill up with mud, and then they start to bounce and you get inconsistent seed depth. Now, I finished last night on the tackiest part of the field, so that's why these are as bad as they are, but honestly, they're not even that bad. That ain't bad at all. And they should clean themselves off as you go across the field. Okay, I need to split this box between the two hoppers. What's our total weight? Net weight, 2,330 pounds. So about 1,150 pounds a side. Well, here we go. We're going. It's working pretty good. And set beat. Done. I mean, boundary field's working good. Not steering, 8.5 miles an hour, right along that fence line. Love it. Then I also have my headland set up so it'll stop planting when I'm 60 foot away from the end, so that way I get nice square corners. So if I just slow her down here a bit, this is something I wish I would have recognized I had in corn. Slow it down. Bam, it stopped planting. I can lift it up and then get a nice square corner. So one unique thing that we're going to attempt on this field is we're going to do 3 trials of 15-inch rows. So last year we planted all of our soybeans, like most of our soybeans, in 15-inch rows. We have for a few years now, and we really like our 15-inch rows. So we kind of want to know if there's any benefit or not. And my brother said with the variety that we're planting in this field, if there's any scenario in which 15-inch rows are going to work, it's this one. So what I've been doing is I'm going to do 3 entire rounds of 15-inch rows. So there's one, another one's going to be right here, and another one down here. So all I'm doing is I'm cutting the rate in half on those 3 rounds, and then I'll come back at the end and replant them. Okay, so I'm at 72 right now. Once I get to the end, it'll lift up. Change it back to 145. And then I'm going to do a few more rounds and I'll do it again. Then I'll have 15-inch rows in 3 spots. And that'll be our test for the year. The 15-inch rows, you know, yields hit or miss with them. I mean, I don't think we've ever had it yield less per se, but sometimes there's not really a gain in yield if you go 15-inch rows. But what you do gain is weed control. There's just less space for weeds to grow, and it shades over quicker, and that's what we really like it for. But we're not going to go buy a second planter that we really don't need if there isn't a yield benefit. But if there is a yield benefit, and we can maybe justify buying an old 1790 planter to plant some acres with, you know, that's why we're doing it. Okay, field is done, minus my 15-inch stuff. So let's change that population back down to 72. I need to make this shift increment 15 inches, and let's go, I really don't think it matters which way we go. Let's go right. Okay. Well, in order to get my auto path lines to not conjoin I ended up just creating a new work. So my monitor thinks I'm planting a new field, but I'm just planting 15-inch rows, and man, that is so far off. Why is that? Not even close. I'm gonna drive it myself here. And there we go. Just as it starts to sprinkle, I'm done with planting conventional soybeans for the year. Look at that. Now we just got the organic stuff left. I said that there was something that I kind of broke and it was 100% my fault. Yeah. Whoops. That was an expensive one. So this was on the sprayer tractor, and my dad was gonna go spray, and I'm like, ooh, I gotta switch that out for an RTK one. So I put the RTK one on top, and then I got distracted, and I left this on top of the roof, and then my dad started driving down the highway, and it fell off at 26 miles per hour and bounced down the highway. But I'm gonna plug it in here quick, and I'm gonna see if it still is recognized by the screen here, because these top domes are replaceable. So if the receiver still works, I'll just send it to Ag Express or something, and for a few $100 probably get a new dome on it and call it good, because these things are like $4,000. I think these are $3,000. I think I can get a 6,000 for like $4,500 used. Okay. It's asking me to calibrate the TCM. That's a good sign. At least it recognizes it's on there. Starfire 3000. Correction mode SF1. Sweet. I'm too curious. I want to see if it'll actually pick up a GPS signal. So I'm backing it outside here quick. Might take a little bit, but hey! We got some GPS signal. We're doing okay. All we need to do is get that top redone. Perfect. I was so afraid I was going to buy a new receiver.